The book of Hebrews 12:15 says that, "See to it that no root of bitterness springs up and causes you trouble, and by it many become defiled." The author of Hebrews talks about bitterness in terms of a root, almost in terms of a weed. It's real easy for people to say when someone sins against them to say, "Well, you made me bitter." Well, they didn't make you bitter. Bitterness is a choice, just like forgiveness is a choice. And sometimes when bitterness gets in us, it's not that the other person caused it, it's that this bitterness is underneath. And we never really saw it, but as soon as we got sinned against, it bumped us and the bitterness came out. And so we think that they made us bitter, but we were already bitter. It was already a root underneath us. And so just like if I had bitter water in this cup of water and someone sinned against me and bumped me, well, the water that came out, bitter water, was already inside. The bump didn't make the water bitter. The water was already bitter. So bitterness is a root. And it doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. Hebrews says it's a weed. It's a root that's hidden underneath, and it'll just spring up, cause trouble, and defile many. So your bitterness is not just your problem. Your bitterness affects more than just you. Your spouse pays a price for your bitterness. Your children pay a price for your bitterness. This church will pay a price for your bitterness. It affects people. Anyone ever been so foolish as to think that you can just get rid of the weeds in your yard by taking the weed whacker to the weeds? And you just, get all the weeds down. "What's up, sucker?" And you get on your bike, you go home, and you feel good about yourself. And then next week you come back and there's all the weeds again, but then there's more. Did that ever happen to anyone? No, you're all smarter than me. So that's happened to me. What's the problem? Why are the weeds coming back? Why are they even more abundant? Because we didn't get to the root. See, bitterness is a root. You got to get to the bottom of it. You ever feel like you just got to keep on forgiving over and over and over again? Sometimes that's a choice, sometimes that's necessary, but sometimes the reason you got to keep on forgiving over and over and over again is because you didn't get to the root. See, bitterness is a root. It's like a weed. You got to understand it. You got to get down underneath it, and forgiveness is the shovel that digs out the root. And it's important because it doesn't just affect you. It's not just a matter of you and the other person. It's a matter of that conflict between you and the other person, that bitterness that other person has seemed to create in your life is affecting everyone around you, even the people that you love. And so the question is, will you forgive? Will you forgive?